In 2020, we had big aspirations for traveling to Iceland, but the world had different plans for us. Instead of flying across the globe, we drove north from our home in Portland, Oregon to explore the North Cascades and Olympic Peninsula.
Due to COVID, we decided to stay in a series of Airbnbs because we thought it would be safer. This would also allow us to relax and plan our next move. Since the drive to Mount Shuksan takes about 3 hours, we decided to stay in an Airbnb in Lakewood.
We loved finding scenic little spots where we could walk, cook, and enjoy our favorite turmeric tea with raw honey while planning our next move. Lakewood delivered in its scenic beauty and was the perfect pit stop for what was to come.
We chose Glacier, Washington for its proximity to Mount Shuksan. For decades, I've been seeing Mount Shuksan on Rand McNally maps when those existed and postcards, and it is one of the most beautiful mountains in all of the Pacific Northwest and especially the North Cascades. My goal was to capture a photograph of Mount Shuksan at sunrise. To do this, I had to get Andrea out of bed at 3 a.m., so I bundled her up, gave her some tea, and we headed up to the mountain. We lucked out and conditions were perfect for some great pictures.
Unlike Dave, I didn't have any grand aspirations except to get out and hike and be in nature. After a nap and a stir fry and more green tea for me back at the Airbnb, we headed back up Mount Baker Highway to exercise our legs and capture some unanticipated gems.
Speaking about those unanticipated gems, coming back from our hike of Mount Shuksan, we saw this beautiful stream meandering through a forest covered by ferns. The way the sun's rays hit those mossy rocks on the side of the stream, I knew I just had to capture that photo. So I jumped out of the car, after it was parked, captured a few photos, and we headed back.
After leaving the town of Glacier, we headed toward Oak Harbor with a stop to stretch our legs at Deception Pass.
That bridge that you see off in the distance is the Deception Pass Bridge. It spans 2 sweeping cliffs and is 180 feet off the water. Standing on the bridge, you could see the beautiful San Juan Islands hailed in mist off in the distance.
The very next day, we took an early morning ferry from Fort Casey to Port Townsend.
After a day of resting in Port Angeles, we got up at 1 a.m. to head up to Hurricane Ridge. Our original plan was to get up early enough to take a picture of the sunrise cresting from the east. When we got up to the visitor center, we found we were all alone above the clouds. Even though we were intending to take a picture of the sunrise, we were greeted by this unbelievable moonset.
Mount Olympus is the namesake for the Olympic mountain range. After some hot tea, we hiked up to the top of the ridge to take some pictures of the sunrise.
Everywhere along this ridge was a stunning view, so I decided to take a quick detour and check it out. And of course, I couldn't pass up on another great photo opportunity. Look at those beautiful lox flowers. Well, I mean, look at how beautiful Andrea is just sitting there. And in case you're wondering, no, we are not posing.
Honestly, it was really cold, even though it was the middle of July, and I couldn't get warm or catch my breath, but there were deer all around to greet us along the way, and that made the cold well worth it.
Hiking out, I couldn't help but think how the Native Americans survived in this environment. With the extreme weather and steep slopes, it must have been a great challenge. I wonder how many times they hiked these slopes looking for food.
An easy hike further down in the northern Olympic National Park brought us to Duc Falls with its lush landscape and cascading waterfalls.
The Olympic Peninsula has many lakes sprinkled out throughout the entire region. They are very clear and very cold.
I was especially excited to visit the Hoh Rainforest, which runs from Mount Olympus toward the Pacific coast. Rainforests always amaze me with their hanging moss and vibrant greens. They seem to put everything in a bit of comical perspective.
Driving down the Olympic Peninsula, there's a series of rocky and remote beaches. Ruby Beach is known for its interesting rock formations and provided a great place to stop for lunch. At the end of the day, we always try to find a peaceful spot to capture the nice sunset.
Getting closer to home base, we stopped at Lewis and Clark National Historical Park.
As we were exploring the trails, we entered a magical land of dense forest. It was like being in Pandora at night, with the forest illuminating with glowing colors.
Ending an adventure is always a bit challenging, so we eased our way back home with a couple of final days in Astoria.
We hiked up the steep slope to see the column, but found that it was closed due to COVID. The column holds some special significance for us because we went there on one of our first few dates. We ended the trip thinking about the amazing places that we visited and the unexpected experiences that we had together, like the moon setting over the Olympic mountain range.
The best part was that it was all in our backyard.